sure it's understood that people on the no on A, yes on B are very compassionate as well. The issues with respect to the homeless, in particular, are serious, intractable almost. All of the communities are trying to come up with creative solutions to try and deal with this, but as we have seen, this problem continues to increase. So one thing I would like to point out is that Mr. Biggs and the AID initiative, there are good elements in what is proposed there. I'm very much familiar with what it means that if you have a homeless person go into an emergency room at a facility in a hospital and then they need to be discharged, where do they go? Well, this provides a place. The issue is the location of that place, and that's what we're going to talk about in some detail as to why that is not a good location. The proposal at McKay Avenue is for a regional center. This is not for Alameda. Oh yes, a few people that live in Alameda will be able to take use of it and will benefit from it. But if it were to be built, we are going to have homeless people from throughout the Bay Area coming into Alameda. Most of the homeless population is obviously not in Alameda. For those of us who venture off our islands and go into Oakland and Berkeley and other areas, we can see the population is significantly greater. This is going to be the only regional facility of any size that's going to draw from that entire population. The numbers are quite significant as well. Well, why is this going to be a problem then? Well, there was a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision made in 2018. It's called Martin versus the City of Boise in Idaho. And it states quite clearly that a homeless person may camp on city property and not be removed if there are no other shelter beds available for that person. And that is now widely enforced throughout the West. Or actually, it's a countrywide. Obviously, the Ninth Circuit applies to all homeless encampments everywhere. So this makes it extremely difficult for people to go in and try and clean up such institutions. In other words, a person is legally able to camp in a park, on a park bench, on the street, wherever they so choose, if it's public land, if they claim that there are no beds. You're going to have a drop-in facility. There's a claim that, oh, this is just for Alameda people. There's no way, honestly, to try and maintain a compliance with that. As you can appreciate, the homeless population is extremely fluid in terms of where they live. And, if you just get on a BART train or a bus, your residence changes almost immediately from Berkeley to Oakland or vice versa. I'm currently in a struggle with the Berkeley Department of Public Health to clean up an area outside of the West Berkeley Bowl. For those who know that, there's an encampment there. I have found human waste there. I have found hypodermic needles. So my 5-year-old has an incredibly good education as to what a hypodermic needle is and don't go anywhere near it. I've had mothers come up to me in Alameda with strollers and say, oh my goodness, are we now going to have to sift our sandboxes or check the beach at Crab Cove? And I'm certainly not going to say, yes, we need to do that yet. But at some point we will, based on the experiences of these other facilities. People at the Respite Center in the Tenderloin, which is about a comparable size to what's proposed for Alameda, is 37% of those individuals just go AWOL. In other words, they just are gone. And they don't know exactly why, but they're absent without leave. That's what AWOL means. 5% just simply decline service. If you're discharged from a hospital and you go into the respite center, you may say, I don't want to be here. And you just walk out. You have the legal right to do that. Another 5% are discharged for behavioral issues. You have to leave because you're not following the rules. Another 4.6 are discharged because of violence or threats of violence. Another 1.1 are discharged directly to the police. This is well over half of all clients at this facility that end up on the street. What I did not include is that there's another significant percentage that do have to go back to the critical care institution that they came from for additional treatment. So they may be returned to a Kaiser, Sutter, whatever. Another few do go to lockup, 5150, something of that nature. I didn't include those because those are situations where they simply need additional care. This is not where they're going to be out on the street, but they're going to another facility. This is obviously a significant challenge to Alameda. This is why the population in the neighborhoods and in the parks are going to increase. This is why the Crab Cove experience, or the vision of Crab Cove, is going to change significantly. The other issue you get into, unfortunately, and this is even more direct, is that when you have the encampments, you have, frankly, filth and waste. And I told you about the human waste and debates with the Department of Public Health to clean up the encampment at West Berkeley Bowl. The issue that we have is that homeless camps are known to harbor viruses and bacteria that create a hazard, not just to the individuals living in the camp, but to people in the neighborhoods and people who pass by. And what are those? Well, norovirus is the simplest. That's an organism that is transmitted through the air quite readily. This is what you hear about on cruise ships where 100 people get sick. And the other is Hep A and typhus, of all things, if you can believe that. So that's it.
Resubmit, once we have all the funding commitments made, to resubmit to the federal government our financial plan to show that the project is feasible and that we have the financial commitments to not only build or rehab the site, to create the project, but then also to operate it for at least 10 to 20 years. We cannot move forward on that part of it until after the election, because some of the significant stakeholders that would be involved in funding the project want us to hold off to finalize that until after the election. So otherwise, we would have been in a deed of trust right now as owning the property.
It just reinforces, I appreciate the complication of lease and issues, but it reinforces the issue that this is pretty much a decision that's going to be irreversible. We're not going to be able to allow A to be developed and then decide a couple of years later that, oh no, this was a mistake, it's not where we want to go, and try and undo it. This would indeed be something that is going to be difficult, if not impossible, to get back.